Lord, your word says that you love justice and that you will not abandon your saints. We trust your love for justice and your love for humanity. Forgive us, Lord, in the ways where we may have failed to trust you. We ask that you now empower us to trust you with all of our hearts, leaning not on our own understanding. In all of our ways, would we acknowledge you? Please direct our paths. Lord, we pray for wisdom. We pray for discernment. And we ask that you would give all here the stamina to get through the many items today. Lord, direct our paths, guide this meeting today for your glory and for the good of this county. And we pray it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the dictator flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Wow.
Cheat sheets. All right. Good morning, everyone. Pastor, thank you for coming today. Appreciate your comments and your thoughts this morning. All right, let's do number 4, review and discuss and take action to approve the previous meeting minutes, Commissioners Court of June 10th.
Move to approve the minutes for the 10th as presented.
I'll second. All right, a motion to approve the minutes of June 10th, a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, looks like we're going to not have Sarah today. She's traveling. All right, public comments. Any public comments this morning? Let's see. Compliments to the judge. Complaints go to Ruben today.
Okay.
Any public comments this morning? All right, very good. All right, number 6, recognitions and announcements. Court, anything?
Finally getting some rain.
Yes.
And not everybody, but it's a start.
We got a lightning show last night at our house. Big lightning show. A little bit of rain. So I've got one recognition of a special guest in the audience, my granddaughter. Stand up. This is Zoe. How old are you, Zoe? She's 15. And we were talking about how she should have a little primer in county government. So you'll see how things get done or not get done, as the case is. Okay, thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
You'll see how sausage is in
See how the sausage is made,
it.
right?
Yeah.
All right, any other announcements or recognitions? All right, number 7, presentation by Mr. Demler regarding county road maintenance. Mr. Demler? Yes, come on up to the podium, please, sir, and just identify yourself.
Morning. My name is Travis Demler. I live and work on a ranch in the Glass Mountains owned by Paul Foster from El Paso. Represent him here. Also present as part of our group are Jeff and Cher Hickman. They also work together with us at the ranch. I've been there since 2019. They've been there since 22, I believe. Lance Jarrett is also here. He's a dirt contractor locally, has done extensive work for us on 2 ranches, and also has probably spent more time up and down Mills Road other than the people that lived there in the last few years. And then Mr. Jim Dacus is here as well, who's a longtime resident, lives at the end of Mills Road, and I think has been out here well over 30 years on the ranch. Correct. So while we share hope for some basic maintenance of the road, what I'm going to say just represents me, and if they want to speak, I'll leave that to them. Just give an overview for those that don't know. Mills Road comes in off of Highway 67. It starts at the McCollum Ranch. It goes several miles through McCollum, turns off and goes several miles through the Ahern Ranch. I'm approximating figures. Then it goes a couple miles through the JMB or the Burnt House Ranch. Then it goes through the ranch that we work on for a couple miles, and it terminates at Mr. Dacus's gate. It further serves his ranch, the Mills Ranch, and the Sibleys beyond that. So there's about Muscle Man was 12 miles, I think, of Mills Road. We use it on a daily or as seldom as we have to for operational use. We need to be able to get contractors in and out of there and employees. And it's a quality of life issue. You know, it's our home. We feel fortunate to be there. And our goal is to just find a solution. And hopefully we can start that process. Additionally, there's just been an overall ongoing lack of maintenance on the road. And it's gotten progressively worse. And when I started out there, my first contact was with the previous commissioner, who her name escapes me right now. Wanted to visit her about the road, and when I met her, she'd never heard of Mills Road, so that wasn't an awesome start to that. We didn't get a whole lot of traction there. I then made connection with previous Road and Bridge Department Supervisor Frenchie, and he was fairly open in the fact that he didn't intend for it to be a whole lot better. That's probably irrelevant to this conversation at this point. And then I had a meeting with the judge and our commissioner, Mr. Westerman, a year or two ago. I don't know, I lose track of time. And hopefully came into that meeting with the angle of we'd like to improve the road. We'd like to have it more serviceable. It's hard on us. It's hard on our equipment. It's hard on our trucks and trailers. And it's hard to get contractors back there, frankly, at times because it's gotten so bad. And so how can we help? Can we contribute water? Can we contribute material? Could we contribute cash? Or could we look at even possibly a more aggressive solution where we absorb the cost of improving the road and look at a long-term tax abatement? And I just have to be candid. You know, when I brought that up, it was suggested that maybe it was cheaper to keep fixing our equipment than it was to fix the road. And since then, it's gotten progressively worse. Meanwhile, we've watched the southern portion of the loop on Bench Road be maintained probably 3 or 4 to 1 to our road, and good for them. I'm glad for them that it's been better maintained. But that's been an obvious ongoing thing over time for whatever reason. So we had rain recently, which we're extremely thankful for, and the road got in really bad shape. According to the binges, the worst it's been since the late 50s when they came there, and according to Mr. Dekas, the worst it's been since he'd been there. So I contacted our commissioner, Mr. Westerman, and asked him if he would possibly have time to come out and meet with me and drive the road and look at it. And I didn't hear anything. I contacted him again. I didn't get anywhere. And meanwhile, a blade shows up, which y'all have been doing some work out there, which I appreciate. I was then in contact with Mr. Salcido, and to try to coordinate as far as letting him know what the weather conditions were like, what the road conditions were like. And I talked to him and said, listen, we're in perfect shape. You've got a blade out there. The road's going to be wet. And the blade sat there the whole time and let the road dry out. And then when they started working, it's dry, and now it's powdered out. And so Bill Binge said he watched a blade sit there for 27 days the last time it came out there. So where we are today is the same place I've been before, is we just want to make it better. So what's the solution? And all those things we discussed previously, I think are, on the table for us at least. How can we help contribute? If we can do a more aggressive solution, that's possible. But something else that I think about in my job, and we do big projects, is the owner that I represent, I have to offer value for the money that we spend on the ranch. And so I look at what we spend and what we're getting and what's the market rate. And I understand completely the situation Brewster County's in without a big tax base. I know y'all are shorthanded. I know the budget is short. I'm sympathetic of that. But that being said, it's the biggest county in the state, and I'm sure the Road and Bridge Department, it does have a sizable budget. Maybe not for the landmass, but there's still quite a bit of money being spent. And I know there's going to be nuances of budgets that I can't understand. So I'm looking at this from a simplistic standpoint. But if I was on the outside, I would say, what is the yearly budget of Brewster County Road and Bridge total? That's indirect costs. That's county, attorney's fees and HR and accounting and office space and depreciation of equipment and maintenance, et cetera, et cetera. And I would look at that annual budget, and then I would look at the value of all the rolling stock that's sitting there, which is significant. It's going to be in the millions. And I would look at the opportunity cost of that money, and I would roll that into the budget. And then I would square that with the number of tack hours on equipment that are being operated. I would say, what are we getting for our money? And I have that fiduciary responsibility, and I believe that the county does too. So if you looked at that amount of money and the amount of equipment hours that are being expended over the year, what's the hourly rate? What does that come to? What's actually being done? And I would compare that to a market rate and see if there is possibly room, how efficient is it? And if there's maybe room to allocate some of that budget towards private maintenance. I think that's might be a legitimate possibility. Again, I don't understand the nuances of how y'all can spend money and how the budget works and where I'm sure the state contributes some. So that's another solution that I think bears looking at just as a responsibility to the taxpayer for money well spent. I'll leave it there. We just want to make it better. I hope it's on your radar. I hope that we can look at the road in person. Everybody knows where it is. And I will leave it to these other people. If they want anything to have anything to add, they're more than welcome to. But those are my comments for today.
Well, your timing's perfect because we're in budget season right now. And so I think I might just appoint you to help me with the road and bridge budget because I'm right in the middle of it right now. It's a good opportunity for you to see kind of the intricacies of that. So if you're interested, I'll plug you into the road and bridge budget when we start looking at that.
I am interested. There again, I understand. I came from a county with a big oil and gas base, and I understand that it's a different situation here.
So I drove the road day before yesterday. If you saw a white Ford pickup, that was mine, early Sunday morning. So I drove the whole length of it. I went all the way out to the Glass Mountain Ranch, which is whose ranch?
That's the ranch we work on.
Ranch.
Belongs to Paul
So
Foster.
I got to the stone pillars and then I went all the way out. In fact, we didn't turn off to your residence. We went on up to, I think must be the Sibley's Gate.
I think that's Mr. Dax's gate.
Oh, Mr. Dax's
would be the locked gate.
And then I turned around and came back out. It looks like our guys have been out there because I found the road. I mean, I lived in South County for 32 years. And so I can assure you there's worse roads down there.
I'm sure that's
I
true.
thought the road was in pretty good shape, all things considered. There were some dusty areas, of course. I don't know, that just sort of they turned to powder. And then there's that place by Mr. Binge's house where it's just it's sort of a swamp in there. But
we like swamp sometimes.
Yeah, and I got to say that Johnny Salcida, who is our road and bridge supervisor, he was just in my office this morning. I know he reports to Ruben, but he's a good blade operator, and I think he's doing some things to cut the water so that it goes the right way and not turn into a canal, which just defeats the purpose. I'm not a road maintenance guy, so I'm just kind of repeating what he said. But I found it to be in pretty good shape, all things considered. Now I realize it gets torn up again. I realize that we get work the road, gets bumps on it, and I know the rain will tear it up. And I guess my feeling is that, of course, we've got a lot of road, a lot of other people, a lot of more density of folks that are also calling about the same thing. So I guess I feel like we're maybe we haven't in the past, and I can't speak to that, but I feel like we're moving in the right direction. Are we going to get out there every time a sprinkle falls? I don't know that we can do that, but I think we've got two maintainers out there right now, one on Mills Road and one on Binge Road, with two operators. So I think I'd like to see us continue to demonstrate our ability to get that done, but I'm open to suggestions. I mean, if you think we're not cutting the road right, I'd like to hear that, but I feel like we're making the progress on that. Anybody want to add to that?
All right, going forward, what would I'd like to see work together and maybe get a pit to where we can get some material would help a bunch, because there's at $10 a yard, it doesn't go very far. Actually, it's probably $15 now. So I mean, the haul to be able to put over them rocks and stuff. If we could work with some of the local owners there to have a pit to where we could push up some material and be able to put it on your road would help immensely.
I agree. I think we struggle with the same thing on the ranch needing material. So I understand. As far as material, one thing I've had my eye on, I don't know if it's doable or not, but the first ranch you come through, McCollum, which I understand has a checkered history with the county, there is a huge amount of millings, highway millings there sitting right on the highway, which is just prime road material. I don't know if we could get access to that, but it's in a good location. It's already milled. And you're not going to get any better material than that. So it might be something worth looking at.
Is that tech stop? Probably.
No, they give it to that.
I think they probably
They give it
belongs to the landowner.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
But
I think there's parts of the road that still have some material there that needs to be properly worked and needs to be brought up from the sides and takes a lot more time and effort, and you have to have moisture in the road. But I think that's at least the difference I can see from when I got there till now is the lack of maintenance. That little bit of material that was on the road is gone. And so there's some parts now that are not salvageable as far as pulling anything back up. But there's some spots that you could still salvage. And so I think if we could move towards a little higher level of effort to salvage what's there when there's moisture in the road, and then we need to haul some material at some point somehow on some of those rough spots. And
I think as long as you guys understand that, yeah, we do have a limited staff, a limited experienced staff. And that, the phone doesn't stop ringing from other places like Double Diamond and Sunny Glen and Terlingua and Boulder Road and, Olafria and all of the other places that we have to travel to. So just understand that, we'll make a promise not to ignore it because that's not our intent, but you guys need to understand that sometimes it takes us, we've got other people calling us. I don't know how else to say it.
we do understand, but we do understand. But I wanted to point out, we had these few days a year where we have enough moisture in the road, and we had 4 or 5 days of that pass with a blade sitting out there, no operation. So that you have to realize from our angle, driving past that thing while the road's in prime shape and not doing anything that's kind of frustrating. So y'all have heard enough from me. I'll answer any questions if you want, but I want to give these other
Any
people
comments from the rest
opportunity.
of you folks? Anything? I understand we cut a water line yesterday.
Yes, fortunately that wasn't on us, but they're working on it.
Whose branch was that on?
That's on the JMB ranch. They're
They're making it right this morning.
They're out there working this morning. We
Yeah.
passed them.
Big deal. Birdhouse.
Yes, Joe Burnham's stuff.
I don't
Garrett,
think we cut off anybody's water supply. It was a stop. It was a storage tank.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, not
Guys
good.
might get thirsty.
No, they're working on it. He said that as long as they got some good,
It-
they got to it today, fixed it today. Johnny shoveled it around so that, and they got the parts and they were gonna put it together this morning.
I'd like to say a few things.
Yes, Okay, thanks, Rob.
Morning, everybody. I'm Lance Jarrett. I own Jarrett Derwick and Paving out in Fort Davis. Like Mr. Dimmler said, I've been working out there with them for the last 2 or 3 years. And I think the point is, since I've been working out there, this is the first time that I've seen a machine even show up on the job. And I'm charging Mr. Dimmler more money to do work out there at his ranch because of how terrible the road is. We've busted 3 batteries and belly dumps just because of the shaking. I can't even tell you how many tires we went through. We broke springs on the belly dumps. We cracked the frames on the belly dumps. And that's with us running 15, 20 miles an hour. It is one thing to drive down the road in a pickup, and it's something else when you're hauling 85,000 pounds. So I think trying to get with them is the fact that hopefully there's progress moving forward. There just hasn't been much in a while. And I think that's the big thing. The road is way better actually to me than it was because I just moved a blade and a roller and we hauled more material out there and everything just last week. The first 2 miles of the road for the last year have been washboards for 2 miles. And I mean, it just beat the snot. I actually had to have both my trucks go to Odessa and have the front ends realigned of how bad that road was. I get it. It's a road, it's a county road, it's a dirt road and all that. But I mean, there has to be some sort of, I have the contract with Jeff Davis County to maintain all the roads in the county in Jeff Davis. And at some point, you have to fix it or you can't just keep letting it go. The thing that I see y'all moving forward, and this is just my opinion, you can take it or leave it however you want, but if you don't start to make some progress on it, you're gonna lose it in a big time way. Because of the way that it's cut and the way that it's been graded, the water is channeled in the road now.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere for it to go. The road is actually so much farther down than the pasture that even the turnouts, the water goes right into the turnout and then it can't go anywhere. So it just sits there. So you've got some major erosion problems. If it really does start to rain out here, that road is going to turn into an absolute disaster because of how it is sitting. The road is like this. It's 4 feet in the ground on one side. It's about 1.5 feet on the other side. If y'all don't start to pick that thing up, every time the water comes across the road, that's when the ditches start to kick across the road. If you'll level it out, that water will hit that road and it'll dissipate and it'll fan out and it won't do nearly as much damage. So there's some things that I think moving forward, all the diversions at some point were there, they're not there anymore. You can see remnants of them, but they're not. So like I said, I think coming from Mr. Demler's point and on my end, I mean, every time he asks us to come out there, which is my business, that's how I make a living. I'm like, well, is the road in what kind of shape is it in? Because I'm just keep tacking on more money because the damages to my trucks are just getting worse and worse and worse every time we go in and out of there. And so I think everybody he's looking at doing more things out at the ranch to hopefully improve the value of it. Well, if you can't get anybody to go out there and do the work, then that's a dead deal. So I hope that this brings a point of, I realize just like I'm in the same situation in Fort Davis. Every time something happens, somebody calls me to want this or that, but they pay taxes like everybody else and it should be done just for them as well as anybody else. So yeah, I'll let it be there. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Any other comments this morning? Commissioners? Jim or Mo?
Yeah, I'm biting my tongue.
Okay. All right, thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate you. All right, number 8, review and discuss annual review of Brewster County ESD number 1. Kristen, you're on.
So I emailed last night the audit report that we received. And I'll let Jeanette go over the financials, but I just wanted to point out one thing on page. Can I have this one?
You say your name for the record.
Sorry, yeah, Kristen Oren. Jeanette. On page 7. We need to reach out to our auditor to make sure my understanding of this language is correct. But essentially, last year, we did not even have an investment policy. We got to work on that and approved one. She says that we have not adopted an investment policy in compliance with the requirements of the act. And then it seems to specify that it's because we did not have anything in there about collateralization of our bank account. And we did have our account collateralized. And my understanding of the letter of credit, our banker assured me that they monitored it daily and would update it as needed. However, in the past year, there were about 2 months where we were not fully collateralized. And so I believe our auditor is saying if it had been in the policy, it would have been taken care of. But the mistake I think would have been made because I believed the banker that they checked it daily and I had to do nothing. So now we've learned our lesson. We will be the ones monitoring our own accounts, making sure they're always fully collateralized, and we will add it into our investment policy. Other than that, though, I don't think that there's any problems. So
Your depository is West Texas National Bank, right?
yes.
Okay, so I've been down this road a bunch of times, not with the county and with the hospital district. So yes, it is their responsibility, in my opinion, for them to tell you what the collateralization is. They have an obligation as part of their contract to collateralize that on a 1-to-1, actually excess of 1-to-1. The other problem I have with, and I'm not picking on West Texas, but they collateralize it with a Federal Home Loan Bank Board letter of credit. Now, that's legal, but in my mind, it's not as good as collateralizing it with treasury bills. Now you're not going to be in a position to go out and buy treasury bills on your own, but there are ways to do that. And I think you guys are eligible for the pools, aren't you?
Yeah.
So do you have money in the pools, text pool and so
Yeah.
forth?
Mhm.
Okay, so those are net asset zeros, and so they're fully collateralized at all times, and those entities are required, mandated to maintain that collateralization. So, I feel your pain because we ran into the same thing at the hospital district. I was surprised that they weren't monitoring it, and we kind of did the same thing and said, no, that doesn't work. You're the ones taking care of the money. You gotta, so have they got it back in compliance now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's been in compliance. It was out of compliance earlier in the year, a couple of months for like a 2-week period at a time that the letters of credit, just the expiration or the amendment didn't cover it. And so we did have some lapses. It was covered up to
Right.
750,000, something like that, but it just wasn't covered quite enough.
gotcha. We have an investment policy here at the county. You're welcome to take ours and adopt it if you want to do that to save you from having to create one from scratch. You're welcome to use ours if you wish. And then, have you been to any of the investment training?
Yes.
Yes, and I've been the most recent public funds investment trainee. I still feel like I need at least an associate's degree to really understand it.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, for us, even the county, it's pooled money.
Yeah,
I mean, they get into bankers acceptances and commercial paper and I mean, it'd be wonderful if we were $500 million budget,
Mhm.
like some of my colleagues and can go out and have a treasury operation. We don't have that luxury. So, but that's good. Okay.
I do have a copy of our investment policy if you want it.
Sure. I'd like to see it.
And here, yours.
Okay.
And ours, but
And then the only other thing that we're gonna go over on the budget, I mean, on the audit is on page 10, and it just goes over our original budget and our actual expenditures for the year and where we stand. We collected $697,146 in sales tax, and we collected $101,452 in interest. So our fund balance is very healthy. We are at $2,444,923 at this time. That investment is in Techstar, Logic, and Edward Jones. All low risk and all very liquid.
You're not doing CDs, are you?
We do have a CD right now.
Just with the,
it's through the Edward Jones money market
Mhm.
account. It's kind of combined in there. It's just a
okay.
year-long CD.
One thing I'll also tell you, take a look at your CDs, just make sure that you don't have Bank of China in there as one of your CDs. Interesting enough, we found one.
Huh.
So just, and they operate in the United States legitimately, but I just don't think the optics are good.
Yeah,
So,
I don't.
just
I
keep
don't-
an eye on your CD portfolio.
Yeah, I don't believe that it was Bank of, and in fact, I'm sure that it was not.
Okay.
But we'll take
All right, everything else good at ESD?
Things good.
Yeah, doing good.
Full of them?
Sterling Fire and EMS is up and running and
Yeah, they're doing great.
Yeah.
We supply them with outside of the money that we give them annually, we supply them with $143,000 worth of fire equipment and updated radios and things like that, so everything's.
thank you for keeping us healthy and safe down in South County. Any
Thank you.
questions for the presenter?
Thank you.
Good job. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it. Okay, number 9, county judge report. I have, item A, real quick. I won't spend a lot of time on this. I gave you guys some collateral material on your agenda that you can look at. I think that one of the discussions that we've come up with about the possibility of leasing some of our vehicles as opposed to outright purchasing. So you and I have talked a little bit about this. I guess what I'm looking for you guys is some direction. Right now we have a road and bridge vehicle that we need to replace, and I think frankly, that's just a cash buy. At the end of the day, the rule of thumb still applies. if it costs more to borrow the money than what you can earn on it, you should just pay cash for it. Right? Makes sense. But leasing does have a place in some areas, particularly the upfront costs associated with buying the vehicles, being able to spread your cash flow over time. Leases usually don't require any money up front. There are new types of leasing programs on the market. The one we've been looking at Enterprise is an equity lease. And so what they do is they structure the deal so that there is theoretically, if you maintain the vehicle, there's equity at the end of at the sweet spot, wherever that is in 4 to 5 years. And you are able to basically turn that vehicle back into cash and then use that cash to buy the next vehicle. So the idea is that you're continuing to keep your people in relatively new vehicles over a period of time every 4 to 5 years, as opposed to buying a vehicle and wearing it until the springs fall off of it. So there's a pros and cons on both sides. The reason this is coming up is the sheriff is what I'd like to see us do in the vehicle department is not wait till we wear all of them out and then we have to buy them all again. It's kind of like the fire tank.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting till all the SCBA's wear out, let's buy 2 or 3 a year and not wait till we get to the end of the life. So one of the things that's come up is the sheriff's going to start needing to replace some of his vehicles. And so that concept would we be interested in leasing those vehicles, which we can do. They can come fully outfitted, ready to go with all of the equipment except the radios, with the front guards on them and so forth. And we can buy 2 or 3 of those through a leasing program versus the cash outlay that we would have to do. So I guess my question to the court is, would you like me to continue to explore leases as an option, or do we want to continue to look at cash buys as those things come up?
I say continue looking at the leasing.
Especially for
Just find out, yeah, because they wear them out pretty quick.
Yeah, so we've taken
A lot of miles.
we've taken an early look, and sheriff.
What is the deal on their mileage?
So the Enterprise's this is Enterprise recommendation. We're looking at 3 vendors, but Enterprise's recommendation, and they're in the business of doing this. The sheriff wants to go with Tundras because he feels like, and anecdotally, he feels like that they hold up better, particularly in the South County. And ironically, Enterprise came back and said, from an operating cost and looking at Ford, Chevrolet, Chrysler, and Toyota, interestingly enough, Toyota has the lowest operating costs and the best equity return.
Yeah.
So sheriff's on point with that. It would cost us right off the bat to lease a Tundra fully equipped about $1,100 a month for 4 years. So we're anticipating 25,000 miles a year on the vehicle. So at the end of 4 years, it'd have 100,000 miles on it and it would be turned. And then
What kind of money do they put on?
they are putting a 20% residual value on it.
No, mileage.
Oh, mileage, 25,000 a year.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, and they look, interesting enough, they have the ability to look at statistics on all of our vehicles. I didn't really think about this, but if you look at registration history, you always have to report your mileage, and so they can tell what we've been putting on our vehicles. And so our sheriff's vehicles have been running about 25,000 miles a year. Now they put hard wear to it down south. It's 25,000 of a rough road. So what they do is they build in what they believe. What they don't want us to do is get to the end of the lease period and be underwater. Last thing you want to do is pay for a car and still owe more money on it, right? So they build in a residual value that seems reasonable to them based on that mileage and their history in the business. And so the idea would be when you get to the end of the 4 years, you turn that they turn that vehicle for you. They sell it and you get cash back, and then you plow it back into the next vehicle. So you're just continually doing that.
Historically, Toyotas hold their value better than the others.
No action required this morning, but I just want to let y'all know that we're looking at that, and I'll bring in some hard numbers next time for the sheriff's vehicles. Whereas we go through the budget, that's
And
come up.
they're always 4-year leases or
They
contracts.
can be any lease. They can be 3, 4, or 5 years. In Road and Bridge, we were looking at a 5-year lease, but I think Ruben and I have been kicking around the idea for that road. It's just one truck. We'll probably just look at cash for that one. But for the patrol cars, for the sheriff's vehicles, we'd be looking at no more than 4 years. If we want to be aggressive, we could do it in 3.
On the road and bridge, they're lasting about 10 years, the pickups.
Pretty good, but they go over rough roads too.
And, some in there costing about 5,000,
Yeah.
more or less. And you get about 20% back, so when we get rid of.
Yeah, we're gonna go through that here in a minute. Yeah. All right, well, I'll come back to you guys with some numbers on the county vehicles. All right, item B, 9B, David Miller, you've got some comments about cybersecurity?
Hello, David Miller, Courthouse Security. One of the other hats I wear is IT stuff here at the courthouse. We still have the cybersecurity research every year we got to do. Just remind people they need to do that. It's on YouTube. It's about a 30-minute video. Another thing came up is we've been getting phishing emails to different county employees in different departments saying this is from a Gmail account, not their county email, but saying, oh, this is David. Hey, this is David. My direct deposit information just changed. Can you get it changed for me so my check gets deposited in the correct account? I found out about an incident about 2 weeks ago. Looking into it further, that same email for that same individual went to several employees. And we just want to remind everybody, bring that to my attention when that happens, because I am running it down with DPS, trying to get the Fusion Center involved. We can look into the Gmail accounts that are being sent, and try to get it stopped. So, and don't change direct deposit information. So, and the treasurer's office they're good about it. They delete them. They know better. But in the past, about 2 years ago, we had an incident where it went through, where whatever. So we were out of a couple grand.
Well, our policy now in Treasury is that if you want to change the direct deposit number on your checking account, you have to physically go to see Julie or Donna. You can no longer do it by email.
Yeah.
Which just makes perfectly good sense because you can't trust it. I got a phishing one yesterday, but as a general rule, people sending you Gmail
Well,
emails.
what I've seen is they use this one was like inbox 123 whatever at gmail.com, but it came from, like, it would say David Miller, and that's not what we do.
Yeah.
So it's probably a botnet mass shooting them out, and they're trying their best, but they do know when we get paid and when we don't get paid, because they do it a couple of days before payday. And so there's that sense of urgency that people feel that, oh, I need to do this for David because I know David and David needs to get his paycheck. So that they're playing on that.
All right.
So
Thank you, sir. Any questions for David? You know, we've spent time and money for building a fortress around our network, and in light of what's going on in the world today, we certainly should expect more cybersecurity potential attacks into our network. If you want to ever see something interesting, come to my office and I'll show you our network map. We now have our entire network. It's almost like a fortress, and we have thousands of pings every day from foreign countries trying to ping into our network.
Every hour.
Yeah, constantly trying to find a door or a route into our network. Mostly Russian, Chinese, Ukraine, interestingly enough, trying to get into our network. So we've hardened it. I feel pretty comfortable that we've done everything we can to do that. But it's out there. And we don't think about it when we're doing our normal. So I think it's just cautionary to remind everybody, department heads, elected officials, if you don't know who it's coming from, don't open it. So, all right. All right, number 10, project tracker. If you guys will go to the project tracker list, we have one item on the agenda to look at. We have the dump day expenses. Our dump day expenses came in for a total of $29,402.79. That's across all the, Terlingua Marathon and Alpine. Used to have more, right? And we've got 8,000 coming from the COG grant, which takes that down to 21,000. So my recommendation is that we use, unfortunately, I think I told Ruben this, we thought we'd put 50,000 in the budget for dump day. It turns out we only put 5. It's just a zero error. So we'd like a couple of zeros, as a matter of fact. So we'd like to take the 29,000 out of this project money to go ahead and fund the dump day.
So moved.
All right, motion.
A second.
Motion and a second to use the project money for dump day expenses. Ruben, how much more do you think you got? Yeah, I did. How many loads?
Well, I need to make sure that they're gonna honor the medal party.
For free.
Yes.
Okay.
If that's the case, you know, I'm not.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion about the dump day expenses? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. All right, number 11, Alpine representative. Doesn't look like we have one here today, so we'll move on. Number 12, our favorite 911 coordinator, Casey.
Touched. Good morning, Commissioners, Judge. Casey Muratori, Rio Grande Council of Governments. I'm your 911 GIS coordinator. I just have a couple of roads today. I'll make it quick, Mo. All right, so the first one that we have, this is Sojourner Lane. This is the new access for the Big Bend Equine Center. I think we all should be somewhat familiar with that location. The ingress to the home used to be via Duncan's Lookout through a little 1 acre tract. They've sold that 1 acre tract, so now that is no longer the access. So there is new ingress, new easement, new right of way, all the things. We're gonna name that Sojourner Lane, and then the addressing for the equines, well, it's no longer called the Equine Center, but it will receive new addressing off of that road. So that's my first one there.
By the Border Patrol.
Yeah, out that way. You actually turn by the old Apache Trading Post
Okay.
through there. Yep. They've cut a new road back up into there, and that's what we're going to use now.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. But right now the house has a Duncan's Lookout address, so that'd be confusing for emergency services to try to respond because that is not the access. There's a fence and everything now, so we got to get it fixed. But that's it on that one. That one's pretty cut and dry. Do we want to
Let's do these one at a time.
one at a time?
I'd
Okay.
entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to name Sojourner Lane to the MSAG database. All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, go to the next one.
All right, next one. This one's pretty easy too. Antares Road. This is down in the Cielo Vista Ranch subdivision. I actually brought all of those roads to you guys several months ago to name all of the roadways within the subdivision. This is an extension of a roadway is all that it is. It's the same name. We're just making it go a little bit further to the south. They initially didn't have those tracks developed out, but now they're ready for them. So we are extending the road. Yep.
Okay, motion,
A second?
motion and a second.
Is all of Cielo Vista, is it on the east side of the road, the highway?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is.
Just one.
Yep.
All right, motion and a second to extend Antares Road as shown on the map. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, anything else?
Little tiny baby program updates today. I do have 8 to 10 City of Alpine employees that will be in my office this afternoon for training on the Eagle View platform. I continue to push the Eagle View platform to anybody within government that needs that access to the authoritative roads, addresses, voting precincts, and so on and so forth. Really looking forward to that. I think it's really going to help out Alpine a lot to actually understand that authoritative information. Another thing I have my eye on right now, nothing will begin until 2027, but we're already looking at the census. We're already starting to consider that. A lot of people don't realize it's my data that we send to the Census Bureau. So that very tippy top data set that the entire country uses, it comes from my office. So getting these roads straight, getting these addresses straight, getting these subdivisions figured out, this is all contributing to that much larger picture. And I just love to keep focused on that. A lot of what we're doing is really to impact that greater data set. And so we're already getting an eye on it. We're not making any moves with anything or anything like that, but we are starting to have conversations about census. So I just want to let everybody know we are thinking about it. And that's about it. Anybody have any questions?
Other than my project that I keep.
Well, of course, I wasn't going to bring it up, but we'll circle back on that.
Has the people from the CAD been over for an eagle eye?
Oh, yeah.
I thought so.
We are real closely linked, the CAD and myself. As a matter of fact, if you request an address for me and I notice that the CITIS address is either missing or inaccurate compared to my data, I email Jake right away and we fix it that day. So the communication with the CAD and our workflow is solid, absolutely. And he uses my platform as well as all the other counties I deal with. Yep.
Great, thank you.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, thank you, Casey. Appreciate it. Appreciate all your work. Okay, number 13, review, discuss, and take action to approve the vacating of the Spear Point subdivision at Lahidas. So Lahidas back in 1984, this is well before Kelsey Warren owned it. I guess it created a small subdivision that the county court approved. And it's, for those of you who know where it is, it's just east of the city hall where the old greenhouses were. So it's on the north side of 170. Anyway, that subdivision never sold anything. Nothing was ever built or sold there. They want to vacate that subdivision now because they're going to build some retention ponds as far.
Who is they?
Lahidas.
Oh.
This is all Lahidas property, excuse me. They want to build some retention ponds for their new wastewater facility. So this is a request from them to vacate that subdivision. I talked to Scott Beasley this morning and it's pretty much as I described it. There's, it was a subdivision that nobody ever did anything with it. So they just like to get rid of it.
So,
Okay. All right. Motion to vacate the Spear Point subdivision. I need a second.
The second,
Okay. Motion, second, discussion. How big is it?
35
Says right there.
acres.
Yeah, 35.45 acres.
Okay.
All right, motion is second. If no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Okay, thank you. All right, number 14, review, discuss, and take action to update the screw worm resolution. Mo, you want to tell us? Or you want me to just? So when we did the resolution, we got out over our skis a little bit and we put some stuff in there about some medicines that haven't been proven scientifically. So when we sent it off to A&M, they kind of came back and said, well, we agree with you on the screw worm, but we don't have the research that shows, what's the name of the drug? Ivermectin mixed with feed is 100% effective in curing the screw worm. So we went back and took a look at Tom Green's resolution and sort of adopted that. We're basically just updating the resolution that we passed last time, eliminating language about the medication.
Correct.
Because that's unproven science. So I just you want to make a motion? Well,
I make a motion that we update our screw worm resolution passed at the last meeting.
second.
okay, motion is second. Any discussion? Is that clear as mud?
There's mud.
Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye. Thank you all.
I might say something that the U.S. Department of Agriculture has the secretary is a Texan, Rollins. She's an Aggie and she's pushing this to get our irradiation plants up and running as soon as we can. They use cobalt-19 to sterilize these flies. And hopefully there's a Air Force base in near Mission, Texas, that's the prime location right now. So, and there's some favorable Congress people on both sides of the aisle that are for this all across the southern border and up into Kansas and Wyoming. So gaining some traction. There's still no screw arms in Texas as of yesterday. That's all I got.
You guys are following that pretty closely, I guess. Okay. All right, great.
I think I appropriated $158 million or something to it, quite a lot.
Yeah. And they've funded a fruit fly eradication plant in Mexico down in Oaxaca. They've converted it to screwworm flies, so that's gonna help too. They're putting out 100 million flies a week. Sounds like a lot of flies. They might, they might.
You just get it out of the air. All right, number 15, review and discuss and take action to update your models of vehicles. So last time we were in here, we declared 3 items as salvage. We had the wrong year models on them. We couldn't find the titles, then we could find the titles. Now we have the titles and we checked it and we got the wrong date. So we were off by a year. So this is a 64 GMC, a 2001 Ford. So this is more of a correction. We've already declared it salvage. Just want to give you guys the right dates. So that somebody didn't come back and say, well, you declared a 63 GMC and it was actually a 64.
That's a water truck?
It's a water truck and a couple of pickups.
Yeah.
So I just need a motion to update those dates.
Make a motion, to update the dates.
Okay.
Oh, we messed up on that.
I'll second that.
Thanks for that. All right, motion is second. Motion is second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Okay, Road and Bridge.
Johnny's been a plumber this morning. The crew went down to Vulture Road and they fog sealed that, put some oil on that chipping material, millings. It took us a little while to get to that oil part. So it's a little bit rougher than I'd like it to be, but I think we can blade it once we get more oil and go back down there and do it and roll it. And I think it'll be good for the next complaint of people driving too fast after that. And so, but anyway, and they started to blade Glass Mountain Road and someone took the belly dump to El Paso for repairs. Had the did some blade work on Hackberry and Elderwood up to High Lonesome. Moved the 140G to Ridgeline and Calamity Creek and to start blading the roads there. And they also started to prep the kiddie pool and marathon to paint it and stuff for the summer and for the 4th of July festivities. And they moved the 140G after they got done their Calamity to Agua Fria. And that's about where we're at right now.
Okay. All right, any permits today?
No permits, sir.
It's okay. We're going to skip B since we've already talked about leases and purchases of vehicles. Okay. All right, thank you, sir. All right, number 17, emergency management.
There are a couple things. If you look at your groundwater map, we're not completely red. Yeah, the rain's actually done good up in our area. Up top, we're still D3, which means it's going to dissipate pretty quick. We have 50% chance of rain today. However, the temperature is going to be 90 degrees. So it's just going to burn that whatever we get today off. So we'll definitely keep the burn ban. Just everything's growing way too quick because it's getting rain and it's like, hey, if we're getting rain, let's grow. Now it's going to start drying out. I also have on the agenda the fireworks ban. The 4th of July festivities are going to be different. I'm working with the 4th of July committee in order to get that all situated, getting their burn plan and everything straight. Fire department's going to be on scene for that. The little fireworks that have been setting off the last year or two that have been setting off fires up and down the highway. I know you're pretty familiar with those.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that we're gonna ban for the county. So I put a amendment out to y'all in reference to approving that.
So fins, sticks, and
Bin sticks and skyrockets with sticks.
okay.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve the fireworks ban as described.
I'll second.
Motion and second. I want to take a moment, introduce our outside counsel, the bigger step, Chuck Kimbrough. thanks for coming. I forgot to recognize you earlier, but this is a perfect timing. I was gonna say, the legislature spent a lot of time talking about fireworks this year. See, maybe they do it every time. They were really, the fireworks must have a big lobby.
No. Well, we're talking about water running on the road where it's not supposed to go. The legislature does that too. It's just. You'll find something like that. Fun facts to know and tell, but you're right.
They were really pushing it to change in favor of the fireworks lobby. So anyway, it didn't happen, I don't think, but, all right, motion and a second on the fireworks ban. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me?
Yeah, James, what did you find out on that hydrant?
Which one?
The one that said on 1703?
So the city waterworks is under restructure because Johnny left and Mike took over. So I just brought to his attention, I went out to Sunny Glen yesterday and tested all the hydrants. One hydrant works, and that's the one that's damaged. What caught me off guard. The other two are brand new, but they're not pumping any water. So I went and let him know, hey, there's no water out here. And the one that does work is compromised, and I don't trust using it because I don't know what's going on underneath. And he's like, we'll definitely get somebody out there to work on it. So right now I hate to say it, but there's no water out in Sunny Glen unless we have to shuttle it in.
Do we have any storage tanks out there?
No. No, we have 3 hydrants that don't work. So I brought it.
Hit.
Yeah, one got hit. Like I said, it works, and if we need to use it in a pinch, we can. But like I said, I don't know what kind of damage is underneath it because it's pointed that way.
Yeah, you don't want to put pressure on
I don't want to put any pressure on it.
The other two just not hooked up or?
I don't know. I when I cranked it up all the way, I didn't hear any wind coming in. I didn't hear, there's nothing.
Chance it could be turned off at the valve, maybe, because there's a valve right before it's underground, right before they gotta have a special.
A special T-bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I looked, I didn't see anything that looked anything out. So maybe they can go out there and turn it back on. I don't know why they would turn it off, but then I checked one on the way into town, and there was another one that was out right in front of Triangle. And I was like, man, I don't want to check anymore because I'm afraid I'm going to find one of these things out.
But James, there are 2 leaks on Memory Lane on either end of it. Are they tied into the lack of water pressure there?
No, so the way that he explained it to me is that it's on a separate split. So they do have some that are turned off to cover the loss for the other one, if that makes any sense. It's so they turn the ones off that are leaking that would then get more pressure than the ones that are more fire torn areas, fire bound areas.
So that those leaks on Memory Lane play into this whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There was a bad leak on 1703. I thought they fixed it, but I think they stopped the leak, but that was about it. No. Sorry for the bad news. Working on it.
Yeah, you and I can talk about that off book about getting that fixed. Okay, thank you. All right, number 18. Amazingly, Robert, you're not last this time. Brewster County Tourism.
I got boost up, all right.
Yeah, you boosted up 2 spots.
Good morning, everybody. We just got back from Chicago, Aaron and myself, from the IPW, the big international conference. It was a little bit slower than usual. Some of the international delegations weren't able to make it in due to this, that, and the other, the political nature, et cetera. But we still had a great 32 meetings. We should have had 40. We had 8 no-shows. And Aaron was able to attend in the first day what's called the media marketplace. So he spent all day from 9 to 5 meeting with 21 journalists in like speed dating. So he got to vet a whole bunch of journalists that we hope to bring in next year to come and cover the park and the area out here in Brewster County. It went well. It was a good show. I had mentioned the judge and speaking with him, maybe not the best, just because of it seems like the show flow was a lot slower, but it's still successful. Got a chance to meet with folks from Texas Tourism that I hadn't seen in a while. So in the Texas row, an entire aisle about 200 feet is nothing but Texas. Austin, San Antonio, the whole Texas delegation is there. So we chatted also, and they had full funding. And one note that I wanted to mention to court that I haven't mentioned before is that I believe it's make sure Senate Bill 22 did pass, which actually gave full unprecedented funding to the Texas Film Commission. So the long and short on that, they're going to have a whole lot of money coming up. So hopefully we may have something like a No Country for Old Men or something like that filming out in our area again, because the state now has a ton of incentives that it didn't before. Most of the filming that looked like it was here in Texas was actually done in New Mexico because they have those incentives. But now with this last legislative session, they got money. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of that. We haven't seen a lot of big productions here in a while. Also off of that, the budget meeting is coming up after this at 1 o'clock. The final budget committee, marketing committee meeting will have our final 4 or 5 lines that we have to go through. So we should have that available for our board meeting that is tomorrow in Marathon over at the community center. So we're getting things done, and budget season should have that all to you. And before the deadline, we hope. The office is going well. We're prepping for State Fair. That's our next big thing. And then lastly, the next travel, the next conference that we have will be I believe it's the 3rd and 4th and 5th of September for the Texas Association of Convention and Visitors Bureaus Conference. And that's the last thing that we kind of do before State Fair. So now we just get workers and start ordering swag, et cetera. Be in contact with you for a few things and just get ready for that biggest event that we have. Just as a notation, we're right at about 2 million in the budget. Again, we're finishing that today, but we'll bring that to you officially, hopefully at the next Commissioner's Court. That's about it.
No coffee. Okay, you've got a contract to approve on item B.
Yes, and I don't know the listing in there. Is there? I didn't have a specifics. It should be something that looks like this from CBS Austin, but I'm not sure what exactly. We may have sent you the wrong.
I've got AAA.
AAA. So this one was. I'll get this to you next time. There should have been 2, but I didn't know which one that one actually was. So AAA, yeah, it's just an opportunity with through AJR Media, who was actually at the same conference, IPW, to reach that particular market. We haven't done anything with AAA. Last year, the marketing committee wanted us to do a little something, so we finally got a sweetheart deal, so to speak, to get into that.
Is this in their travel guide?
Both. It's in the printed edition and some digital as well. Yeah, so it's both. Yeah, it all goes through AJR Media. They're the rep here in Texas for AAA.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the advertising contract. Okay, motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the AAA Explorer contract for $9,000. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anything else, Robert?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you much.
All right, let's do treasurer's office.
Good morning, Commissioner and Judge. This morning, the first thing I wanted to present is my quarterly investment report for the second quarter, which is January, February, and March of 25. So let me see, let me put my notes. So for the period I'm reporting on, the total interest earned was $192,399. The year-to-date interest earned, and so that's from October to the end of March, $370,884. The average interest rate for January, February, March in our local checking funds was 4.15%. Our pools averaged 4.22 to 4.55%, and our CDs averaged 4.81% for the quarter January, February, and March. Any questions?
I thought our CDs had been, I thought we had matured. Yeah, I thought we'd gotten out of that.
So they are laddered out.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just, once one comes up, I'm not renewing for another term. So like these were laddered out for mostly 12 and 18 months. And so I'm just waiting for those to mature and then I will not reinvest them.
Well, that's why the yield is so high.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Yes.
We'll take it. What about, I noticed that Texas FIT
Mhm.
is paying us 456
Mhm.
and,
They always do a little bit better than the other two pools. They have great customer service also, just.
well, then we ought to move more money in there and get
Yes,
another
sir.
40, what's 40 basis points on $16 million? Pretty good money.
Mhm.
So, okay. Great. All right. Do we need to approve this?
Please.
Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the investment report as presented.
Second.
Motion by, what's your name down there? Commissioner Morrow? Second by Commissioner Ortega. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm also presenting my monthly report and I'm playing catch up. I'm gonna report on April. And you're gonna see that I have a new version of my monthly report. A lot of the reports I pulled are from our new system from Tyler. So I kind of wanted to give you an overview of them as I go down my list on the reports. So I kept in there the first thing you see is the total funds on deposit, which was our ending bank balances for the month. I kept that in there. And so the total cash on hand we had was $18,496,687. And the second report you see, of course, is our debt payments. I left that in there because I'm supposed to report on our debt payments. And okay, starting with the new reports that you'll look at. The first one is it's called the Treasurer's Report Detail. And what it is, basically, it's our claim on cash report. It reports our beginning cash balances for each fund. It shows our total net change in assets, our total net change in liabilities, and then our actual ending cash balance. That is the first, and it's separated by each fund, general fund, road and bridge, and all our other various funds. The third report you're gonna look at is my check report, and it's all of this is for the month of April. Our check report shows all the checks written for the month. I have it filtered by vendor in alphabetical order. So what you're gonna see is each vendor listed, all of the check payments that we wrote to them and the amounts and also the general ledger account that it came out of. And so for the month of April, and this is with payroll and accounts payable, we wrote a total of $1,457,876. The next report you're gonna look at is the budget report. And it's basically similar to the statement of revenues and expenses that I used to report. It shows your beginning budget. It shows your current month activity. It shows your year-to-date activity. And then it shows your remaining balance and remaining percentage activity. And I did want to highlight in our general fund, our property tax revenues, we had a $4.7 million budget. Year to date, at the end of April, was $4,364,000, which we have a remaining percentage of 7.13%. Road and Bridge, we have a revenue budget of $839,000. Year to date, we brought in $294,000. And so that's a remaining 64% of our revenue to collect for Road and Bridge. Let me see, hotel funds. We have a budget of $3,035,000, and that's with bringing in a fund balance of $994,000. in order to cover, I think it was construction costs and closing of the park costs. Year to date, we've brought in 1.3 million. And so that's 57.06% remaining.
Have we gotten our bill yet?
I am expecting our PILT in July. July is usually when I get it, and the PILT payment will pretty much tidy us over to pay bills until we start collecting more property tax at the beginning of next year or in October. So that is what my new monthly report will look at. And if there's other things you want me to report on or other things you need to look at, just let me know and I'll try to find another type of report in Tyler to include in my monthly report.
You know, I think at the risk of being a little bit of a forest killer, I think what we might do, since we're all new to these, I love these reports. I mean,
yeah,
compared to what we had, this is like breath of fresh air.
It is.
However, it's sort of foreign to all of us. I think what we might do is, I may get with you and talk about maybe putting some booklets together for the court for a while till we get used to the reports, because it's hard to see it on the screen.
True, that's true.
So,
yes, sir.
okay. Well, we're still running a little bit of a surplus through April.
Yes, sir. Like I said, we still have our PILT payment coming in. We also we have big sales tax payments still to collect. Office fees of office reports money coming in. Also, just various ones like that. And if we just don't spend as much, you know, these next few months, we'll probably end up with a surplus again.
All right, all payroll has ceased. No. Okay, all right.
I move we accept this treasury report for April 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the financials as presented. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to item 19B. This is the big one of the day. It's our health and life insurance services for 2026 fiscal year. So Mindy, you want to take it from here? If you guys will really need to go to that exhibit on your computer that shows the benefits proposal, the plan proposal, so we can talk about that.
And that has the alternate plans on it as well, which you're looking at there. Okay, so it's time to renew our health and life insurance with TAC. The renewal came in at a 1.7% increase, which was well below the pool average. The average of the Texas Association of County pool was 6%, so we were well under that. We also asked, and they normally do, the pool to provide us some alternate plans where you could change some benefits to offset some of that premium increase as well. And so we have those options. Your plan, I'll remind you, currently is a grandfathered plan. When Affordable Care Act came around in 2010, we were really concerned about losing what we had and what all changes we'd have to incorporate. So we kept grandfathered status and we've held on to that for quite some time. But as we've come along, we've realized it's not near as a big a deal as it once was. So I have very few groups, employer groups, whether it's private or county, that are still grandfathered. Many of them have moved off, made plan changes and moved off and become non-grandfathered plans. And really there's two things that are different between a grandfathered and a non-grandfathered health plan. One of them is preventive care services. So if you go in for a preventive care checkup, your plan currently, you pay an office visit copay, or let's say it's a preventive routine colonoscopy, then that's a deductible charge. So you're having to meet your deductible. If we move to a non-grandfathered plan, There is no out-of-pocket expense on preventive care services. So no copay. If it's a routine, regular colonoscopy, there'd be no deductible. So it's an improved benefit on preventive care. The second difference is in your out-of-pocket maximum. On the current plan, you have a deductible of $300. Then Blue Cross pays 80% of the balance of charges for that plan year. The member pays the other 20%. Their 20% is capped at another $2,400. So you have an out-of-pocket of about $2,700 on the current plan, but you will always have copays on that plan. So if you continue to have office visits, if you continue to have prescriptions filled, even though you've met that out of pocket, you're still always going to pay the appropriate copay for the services on the current plan. When we move to a non-grandfathered plan, once you've met that out of pocket maximum, it is truly an out of pocket maximum. You no longer pay copays for an office visit, and you no longer pay copays for prescriptions. Those out-of-pocket maximums, they start over with the plan year. So October through September of every year is when those out-of-pocket and deductibles accumulate. So after all the years, this is what's really it's come down to. These are the two differences between the grandfathered, the non-grandfathered plans. There's no difference in what I make in one plan versus the other. The commission that's paid on these plans has been set since before 2000. That's as far back as I had a chance to look. So there's no change there. So we've seen many go to non-grandfathered plans. So looking at your alternates, option 1 and option 2 are very similar. It changes your plan deductible to $750. It'd still be an 80-20 coinsurance. So Blue Cross pays 80%, you pay 20%. And then your 20% is capped at $3,000. So your total out of pocket is a combination of your deductible and that $3,000. So $3,750. That's your maximum you'd be responsible for in a planned year. If you met that, then any services after that would be covered at 100% by Blue Cross. Okay. You still have a $25 regular physician primary care copay. So that's no change from your current plan. The difference here is in the specialist copay. So option 1 keeps your specialist copay at $25. Option 2 would change that to a $35 copay to see a specialist. Okay. Emergency room hospital copay, that changes to $150. It has been $90 on your current plan. Normally on an emergency room, that's $150 copay. Then you get into your deductible, then into the coinsurance of the plan. Most of the time, that $150 is waived if you are admitted to the hospital because of that ER visit. Okay, so that's a little bit different than the $90 that you have on your current plan. Prescription coverage would not change. It's the same copays as you have on the current plan. Option 1, if we went there, you'll see the employee only cost changes to $895 per employee per month. That is a savings of about 4.2% off the renewal rates. If we look at option 2, that changes that specialist copay, that is a savings of 4.7% off your renewal rates, about an annual savings of $57,000. Based on, we have currently 109 covered members.
What are some, you said the preventative maintenance, I guess preventative care, maintenance, is covered under these new plans. So the colonoscopy, what other kinds of examples?
Any type of well woman exam, annual PAP for men, a well checkup.
Mammograms?
Yes, mammograms, absolutely. PSA check for men, for children, any type of pediatrician visit, their immunizations. It's
How about annual physical?
Physical.
absolutely,
Covered.
yes, yes. What's important is that when you have that annual physical, that's what you've scheduled it for. You're not going in looking to diagnose symptoms,
Right.
then that can change the way it's billed. But if if it's your annual checkup, it's your annual lab work, blood draw, then that's considered preventive. It is based on federal guidelines. So you might have a situation where something that is preventive for you because of a particular diagnosis may not be a preventive services based on federal guidelines for everybody, if that makes sense.
Well, I'll be the first to step on the guillotine platform and say, we've talked about this, and you know, our current, by the way, right now, we're paying $919.82 a month for insurance. That's what we're paying right now this year.
Correct.
So it's gonna go, if we stay with the plan we're in, it's gonna go to $935. It's
Correct.
gonna go up, what is that? About 14, 15 bucks, okay? I guess, you know, I don't have to tell everybody that healthcare is not gonna get, it's never gonna get cheaper. I never expect to wake up year to year and find that you're gonna come in here and say, hey, we're gonna give you 20% discount on your, this is not gonna happen. So I don't know, I'll be the first to fire the shot. I think we ought to take a look at option 2. And here's what we're gonna give up. We're gonna increase our deductible from 300 to 750, which is still very common. That's actually in some places a very low deductible.
Very low. Agree.
Our total out of pocket is $3,750. Right now it's $2,700. That does go up 1,000, but we still pay copays now.
Correct.
We would not pay copays. So it's going to help the people who use the doctor a lot, not so much the ones that don't. We are a healthy county, and that's really a blessing.
Yes.
But other than that, and then the $10 extra for the specialist, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's not worth arguing over. So I think we ought to, and how much is it's gonna save us $57,000 in premiums? Remember, this same policy is covering our retirees as well. Right?
Yes, that's
So
correct.
We're paying for the retirees and our active employees. So my vote is to consider option 2. So
Option 2 or
option 1? I'm actually over on option 2, 891.
That's okay.
But I'm not so wedded to that I couldn't be. But I think we've got to leave our current plan and do something that saves us a little money. 57,000's pretty good chunk of it. But I'm open to. By the way, while we're talking about the life insurance, it's 27 cents per thousand for $20,000 in coverage. Another 3 cents for AD&D. So it's a 30 cents on top of this number, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
So 30 cents for life insurance. And we went back and looked, remember what the last meeting we talked about getting rid of the life insurance of Blue Cross? Well, if we do that, we will eliminate the life insurance for the retirees as well. We're not going to do that. Right, at least certainly not now. So their policy is only $10,000, but I'm not gonna do that and say, hey, surprise, you don't have life insurance anymore. Although I think most retirees got other sources. But at the end of May, we're gonna leave the life insurance policy in place for Blue Cross Blue.
So the life insurance for the active employees works out to $5.96 per month per employee. So that would be on top of your medical premium. And then the retiree life is $1.19 per employee per month, or per retiree per month.
Yeah, so it costs more because they're older.
Correct.
So if we do the 891 and then we add back the life insurance, we're back to 895. Versus 895, then we'll be back to 900. Silence.
We're gonna act today?
We need to.
Yes, we have a deadline of the 27th to let TAC know how we renew. Now, I will, and I can hand this out. This was shared with Julie and the judge last week. Like if, for example, of our 109 employees covered in plan year 2024, so we're talking about this last plan year, we had 38 subscribers meet their deductible. 6 of them were spouses that met their deductible. Of the current plan year, so starting October of 24 through current now, we've had 27 employees meet their deductible. Of everything, last year we had 18 subscribers between employees and dependents that met their total out-of-pocket maximum. Of the current year, we've had 12 meet the total out-of-pocket maximum so far.
Well, our rates are low.
Yes.
All right.
So what we see, much of your claims come from 20% or less of your claimants, of your members, is where the bulk of your claims come from.
Which is about where the older population hits. So it's us old people. Hit it. The other thing too that you got to think about for those that have spouses that are added, that's $100 a month savings for the spouse cost, or about $1,200 a year in savings for the spouse, which is sort of helping offset the increase we're going to see in the deductibles and the copay. Not the copay, but the maximum out of pocket. So it kind of washes in my mind. I realize it's easy for me here to sit here and pick one, but I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense to try to find some cost savings this year.
Sure.
In light of budgets are not getting any revenues flat and expenses are rising. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Well, and I think especially when you look at the 3.5% limitation on revenue increase that was passed in 2019 versus looking at inflation overall, I think our budget is it's gonna be tighter this year. I would agree with the judge on option 2.
What is the
I've been
NG?
on the sites all the time.
Pardon?
Oh, I've been waiting for you to throw this at me, but you haven't yet, so.
Well, I mean, we're nature grateful for what we get, and I mean, we do have to. I know times are harder now, but it could be harder. We could be doing something real drastic with the inch. So, I mean, I'm grateful for what we get, and I know I speak for a lot of the retirees because I'm the one that they get my ear.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to change anything? Is that what you're saying?
no, I think we're.
I mean, this covers them, right?
No. I mean, it just makes their deductible.
Yeah.
Or it takes them a little bit more to get there.
Yeah.
So.
There's no doubt it'll penalize on a proportionate basis the retirees a little more.
Yeah.
Because they're more likely to be sick.
Users. Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are the ones that are gonna get hammered a little bit more because their income is set too.
But that's me, Jim, and Mo too.
I was gonna look. I know when your the original renewal came out from TAC, they've got some claims data in there. So like in the last 12 months, any claim over $10,000, they give you, we call it a high claimants report. And it was provided in your original renewal. Of those, we had 18 claims that were over 10,000 total. 7 of those were retirees. So that'd be 7 employees or 7 retirees that would for sure be affected by that change. Of the total, and Julie and I talked, I think 92 are active employees, and we have about 27 retirees covered.
That's where the 109 comes from. Okay.
No, I
correct.
mean, I think I can tell them that what we're gonna save and what we need to save as far as county tax dollar, we can make it work, you know?
You know, right now, those people that are spending a lot of money on healthcare, when they hit their 27.50 out of pocket, they're still paying co-pays. And so if they're going to the doctor a lot, which they are because they are.
Or filling prescriptions, correct.
Yeah, they're gonna get fairly quickly to the new $3,700 cap.
Very
And now
possible.
with the new plan, once they hit 37, there's no more co-pays.
Right, right.
So, I mean, it's kind of a good trade-off. I make a motion that we accept option 2 as our plan for the 26 fiscal year.
I'll vote with.
Is that a second?
Yes.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussions, Jim?
The only question was, what is the NGS part?
That's non-grandfathered.
Non-grandfathered, but the S. Well,
This, let's see. That's the difference in the specialist copay.
Specialist copay,
Yes,
okay.
that's
You're
what
gonna
it
pay
is.
$35 if you go see the cardiologist
right.
instead of $25.
Mhm.
But any general physician, walk-in clinic, you just pay the 25.
Okay.
Hey, one thing, this is the gorilla in the room, and I'll just clear the air so I make sure everybody understands. Mindy is a broker, and as we use a broker for a good reason, and that is if we chose not to go with TAC, Mindy could go out and look for other plans for us. So
Correct.
that's an option. If those that are strictly with TAC are with TAC, but because we use a broker, if we went to TAC and asked for their rates, this is what we would get. We're not getting a higher rate because Mindy's involved. However, they figure out their commission to Mindy is between them and Mindy, but it doesn't impact it. So and just so you know, I did call TAC.
Yeah.
And they said, no, we protect our brokers. Now, I know that they would like to do direct. I mean, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah,
but
right.
that they protect their brokers that way. And so it makes no difference to us which way we go.
Yeah.
And if down the road we ever, hey, maybe TAC's not the best plan, you could go out and find us another.
Absolutely.
And I'm
And,
sure there's plenty about that.
you know, I bring the voluntary products as well. I think, Julie, too, with this change, if it's approved, we will want to do open enrollment meetings and get as many employees in that we can to explain the difference, make sure they know, you know, here's what's changing. You will have this new out of pocket, but no copays afterwards. So it'll be important to educate them on the changes when we get to that point.
That's the sad thing about insurance is, you know, as much as you mess with it, it still gets confusing for a lot of people.
Certainly does.
What is the copay? What is the deductible? All that. They have simplified it over the years, but read the policy sometimes, it'll make your eyes cross. So most people don't understand it. So, we have a motion and a second to approve option 2. If there's no further discussions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for working through this. All right, Brewster County Comptroller, you're dead last, so it's got to be 25 words or less.
Okay. First thing, let's look at the reports for, you should have 3, what I would call payment reports. We have the expense approval report from the week of June 16th through the 20th. And if you look kind of down toward the bottom of page 2, you're going to see there's 124,921.84, and then 144.60. Both of those payments are related to the closing of the land purchase for the Marathon Visitor Center that was taken care of. Other than that, and that had been pre-approved in an executive session. So other than that, everything was pretty much normal billings. What we have for today is, and I apologize on the title of this report, it's a little misleading. The receipt register is the receipting of invoices against purchase orders. So there you go. It's actually invoices that came in. So the receipt register, we have a total of about 6,691.85. And then we have other payables, including the monthly amounts that are getting paid to the the contracting entities for the month of June, and that total is 163,545.51.
Okay, Melinda, let me make sure so the receipt register are invoices that are in the queue to be paid, right?
No, the receipt register, and this is a little confusion, especially right now as we're transitioning between NetData and Tyler. We still have some outstanding purchase orders that are in NetData. They're starting to clear out, but they're still in there. So those are they don't have a purchase order in the Tyler system. For purchase orders that are in the Tyler system, so this would be really purchase orders that have come in since about the middle of May. Those purchase orders, when we receive the invoice is receipted directly against that purchase order so that it matches the invoice and the purchase order. Then you also have items that really don't have a purchase order. For instance, the contracting entities. Things that the utilities, things that are paid on a regular monthly basis that come in, as well as those items for which the purchase order was put in the NetData system, in the old system. So we've still got a good many in a separate register, and it's just the way you put those invoices in is two different methods, whether you have a purchase order or whether you don't have a purchase order. If you don't have a purchase order, it's on this payable register. If you do have a purchase order, it's in the receipt register, which I wish had a different name, where the invoices are receipted against the purchase orders. Both of these items are invoices that need to be paid. These are going to be paid. The checks will be cut and sent out today. And that will clear out these invoices.
All right.
Clear as mud.
Yeah, we'll get better at it, but this is so much better than what we had.
Well, and I'm hoping I can find a little bit better reporting once we get.
Is there a way to change the name?
Yeah, they can't change it. I cannot figure out a way to change the name. But what I'm hoping is that as we get more purchase orders into the system, then we can have pretty much everything is going to get receipted against those purchase orders. And then our payable register is only going to be those monthly contracting payments like Emergent Air, Sunshine House, whatever else, utilities, leases, things of that sort.
Gotcha. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the expenses as presented.
So moved.
A second. Motion and a second. Any discussion about the expenses as presented? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, line item adjustments.
Most of these are line item adjustments. The very first one is budget adjustment 14. This is actually going to change a little bit based on y'all's decision to use the ARPA funds for dump day. So I'm going to be revising this to fit with what y'all passed on that. Otherwise, some of this is just moving to different line items. We've got and I see an error on this adjustment. I may have a duplication on this one.
Where's
on the second one on number 15.
you talking about the auditor? Well, I was just going to ask you.
I don't think my salary is going to be $150,000.
No. Well,
we could discuss that, but
could we just go ahead and approve the transfer all the way through to the end of the fiscal year, so you don't have to keep coming back? Because we know you're going to get paid what we
that's what I'm
budgeted.
doing.
Oh, that's.
It is when you look at the budget adjustment.
Oh, I see. Okay, never mind.
It breaks it out by month.
Yeah.
But it really has the full adjustment for the year.
It should be 75,000.
It should be 75,000, and what I was doing was moving it from one line to another, and for some reason it looks like it doubled it, so I need to go back and fix that.
I think we can. Well, this isn't just an error, so I think we can approve that.
And then one of the things, the next one is dealing with is we have the capital lease, and it is these are on the with First National for the cat. There's is it a mulcher, I believe, and a blade. I've got to look back at that, but those were budgeted on the principal line item. But when we make that payment, it's a little bit larger than just the principal because there's an interest component.
Right.
And I'm just adjusting that so that we have enough in that line item to cover it. Professional services, this next one, we have some payments due to the final payment on the ARPA grant administration to GrantWorks. And there was already an over budget amount in there of about $40,000. We've got another 48 to pay them that is in this payment packet. So we are moving $45,000 from the line item in the ARPA fund, from the project list up to the grant administration fees.
Okay.
And that should not impact the project list due to the fact that that project list amount was already netted out.
Yeah, so that 96 is a golden number.
It's the golden number.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. All
And the next one, I've moved a little bit of money around, took it from indigent defense, to cover public notices. We've had a few more public notices, and I moved enough to cover a current bill that we have, as well as the anticipated expense that we have coming up with budget season. And the last one, this one is a little bit confusing. The land that was purchased for the Marathon Visitor Center, when the check was written, it was just a little bit short on the budget in that account. So it was paid out of the contingency fund. What I'm doing is adjusting that budget, and then I will make a journal entry to put that into the correct category. But it was just a couple $100 short. So we're just moving that from planning and design up to the land acquisition. And I think what it was when the original budget was set a while back, it was $125,000, and there were some closing fees, surveys, that kind of thing associated with it.
Yeah, just FYI, the closing costs it was $125 and closing costs is $1,700 for the title policy and title fees and incidentals.
Incidentals and surveys.
Survey
was $1,200.
$1,200. Yeah. All right, I entertain a motion to accept the line items as it presented.
So moved.
I'll second. Motion and a second for the line items as presented. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Unfortunately, Melinda, Tommy didn't get me the new lease agreement.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that.
So we're going to skip on item C. And just for the court's record, we're going to add some scanners to that lease agreement for the Treasury's operation. But we can't prove that till we see it. So,
correct.
You have anything else?
Just a quick update on Tyler. July, the next 3 to 4 weeks is going to be absolutely insane. But if Julie and I both survive that, we should be pretty much done with the transition over to Tyler. We're finalizing the payroll. We'll be running parallel, and then payroll go live is going to be the 14th. So please say some prayers, keep your fingers crossed.
So when's Independence Day for you?
Independence Day is probably like around August the 1st.
Okay.
And you will see both of us just like running out of here into the desert somewhere, and may not be as.
No, I was just checking.
You know,
Expect y'all to run.
I mean, it's, guys, I know these two and all of their staff, tedious work. The payroll is the last thing you want to be is long in payroll, right? Because then you're either shortening the employee or shortening the IRS, and both of them are not good situations.
No.
So hats off to the work y'all done. Now, on top of that, we've got budget right in the middle of all this. So I think these two are going to age about 20 years, but that's all right. We'll survive. All right, thank y'all. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving that, or we already done that? Did we approve the line item yet?
Yep.
We did?
Yes, sir.
I guess I'm. All right, old man's disease. Okay, sorry. All right, anything else from the court? There's no closed meeting today. No need to go to closed session. Our next meeting will be in this room on July the 8th at 9:30.
I think the water board's gonna come do a presentation, but
Okay. Let me know and I'll put them on the agenda.
Okay.
Yep. And I would entertain a motion to.
So moves.
Motion adjourned. Any discussion? I doubt it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. This board is now adjourned.